One of the things on my new gestational diabetes diet is that I'm supposed to help, because like the quantities are probably very normal for a person with a normal appetite. They feel a little bit small for me in terms of portions and stuff. But one thing I'm supposed to have is 2 servings of vegetables, basically 2 cups of raw vegetables or 1 cup of cooked vegetables with lunch and with dinner. And that's a real struggle for me because I've just never been a big veggie eater. So the sort of hack I've figured out is I just do, I figured out these soups are very low carb and very high, vegetable. So I combine them, and then I add just a little bit of chicken broth, which is fine. There's like no carbs in that either. And I just heat that up for my vegetable, my vegetable servings. And it really helps me feel fuller because it's hot and pretty easy. And I just sip it out of a mug like tea. And I don't know, that's one way that I've been not feeling quite so crazy on this diet. The rest of my meal is half a cup of milk and a peanut butter sandwich on whole grain white bread, which each slice is 1 unit of carbs. I can have 3 units of carbs at lunch, so I'm also going to have 2 slices of cheese, but yeah, so. So I could probably do this a different time when I don't look a hot mess right after getting out of the pool, but I'd rather give content than worry about that. So today I had my second checkup since the gestational diabetes diagnosis. So I guess I'm like a little over 4 weeks from when I got the diagnosis. And I've been on the gestational diabetes diet for 4 weeks. It went really, really well. I'm really happy. It's as well as it can, because gestational diabetes diagnosis is not a reversible one during the pregnancy. That would probably be like the best theoretical thing to hear, but I don't think they do that. But my doctor, when he saw my blood sugar logs, basically I'm supposed to have between roughly 75 and 120 as my blood sugar anytime that I test. And 65 in the morning is the lowest it can go, like before I've eaten, which has not been an issue. And the range is kind of like hypothetical, because typically, unless you're on insulin or some kind of a medication, you're not likely to have too low of a blood sugar, but and I'm not, so they're not really too concerned with me bottoming out. But I don't know if this will be reversed, but these are my numbers. I think they are reversed. Let me flip the camera if it'll let me. Well, I'll take pictures of it and post it up. But basically, I showed my log to my doctor, and I haven't been over 120 yet, really, and I've only been close to it twice, and I learned my lesson about what to order food-wise, and stuff like that. And technically 120 is still totally safe, so for me to be close to the top isn't like bad. It's just, but I have a lot of scores in the 80s. My average blood sugar reading has, because I have like the app too, and it like calculates your average for the last week, 2 weeks, and month, and my average has been 93 and 94. So I've kept it under 100 the majority of the time, often by quite a bit, and just a little over 100 most of the time. I really look like death, sorry. So yeah, that, so when I showed them that, they my OB called me boring, so that I have nothing to worry about in terms of like I'm just a perfect patient now, as far as I can be as a gestational diabetes patient. But he has not said another word about the possibility of inducing a week early because of the size of the baby or anything like that. I had a follow-up with the preeclampsia specialist who like double checks stuff like that, and I got the all clear from her as well. And she actually asked about my sugars, and I told her, and she was like, okay. She was like, what dose of medicine, which medication does he have you on? Is it like a daily pill? Or and I was like, oh, he doesn't have me on any medication. And she was like, and you're getting numbers like that without medicine? And I was like, yeah. I was like, I'm following the diet really, really strictly, and I'm working out 2 to 3 times a day. But, I figured if I, didn't and it caused preeclampsia, I would be stuck on bed rest or something anyway. So I figured it was better to go ahead and spend the time now getting it under control and just treat it like it's my job. So she was really pleased with that. I got fired by that doctor. She said that she does want me watched. She wants me to do sonograms weekly from now to the end of the pregnancy, which is somewhere between 3 and 6 weeks. I'm hoping at least 2.5 more weeks, because then it'll be a full-term baby, even if it's born a little early. But it can be anywhere from 2.5 weeks to 5.5 weeks at this point. So, because it's Tuesday right now and it's due on a Saturday. So anyway, so that's that. She wants me to come in because, she didn't say why exactly, because I think she was, the baby has grown 0.7 pounds in the last 2 weeks, which is on the low side, but like in an okay percentile. She said they're not worried. It's like the 28th percentile or something. And she was like, as long as it's over 10 percentile, we don't consider it a problem. But I think maybe because it's now running a tiny bit small, she's just wanting to make sure if it slows down its growth too much that we catch it and they can just induce. Because at this point it would be perfectly viable to like go ahead and have the baby anytime from now on. And so there's no sense in risking anything if the baby is not growing well, but she didn't seem worried about it. As far as my weight goes, I'm almost exactly 30 pounds heavier than I was when I got pregnant, which is a very typical amount of weight gain for a pregnancy. And I seem to have kind of leveled out. So even as the baby gains weight, I'm losing just enough that my weight was the same this week as it was 2 weeks ago. So that's kind of cool. I guess I should tell y'all about my gestational diabetes diet, but I don't want to make this too long. So I will hop on one more time and give you the super quick recap of what that entails. And kind of tell you some of the meals that I've been having and some of the tricks and stuff. I filmed a little bit from lunch just to show you like how I've been compensating for the fact that I'm an extremely picky person on a very, very strict diet right now. But overall today's been really good. I got all good things. Everybody said, like my doctor actually said, when he saw my numbers, he was like, man, you should teach a class on how to manage gestational diabetes because you're doing it perfectly. I couldn't ask you to change anything. So that's really nice to hear. So I'm going to give you all kind of a list of the workouts I've been doing, because while I do have a lot more free time than a lot of people do, I do have several workouts that I think anybody could do even if they were working full time. And like when and if I get pregnant again, in order to hopefully prevent gestational diabetes happening again, or at least treat it if it does, I assume that I'll be a lot busier then. And so I'm really thinking that this, I would like to find a way to continue this routine in spite of potentially having a busier schedule. So I feel like anybody who's dealing with gestational diabetes could do some modification with some version of what I'm doing, even though it sounds like I'm doing a whole lot. So anyway, I'll talk about that in a minute.